Let's go to Sandra out of Michigan. Sandra, Sandra from Michigan, where have you been?
Hola, Senor Peterson. How are you?
All is well. Mamma mia.
Yeah, see, I think since all the Democrats are speaking Spanish, that all the blacks and whites, we must start speaking Espanol now, see?
I know. What a mess.
I know, what a mess.
Where have you been?
I've been okay.
Where have you been? Why you haven't called in a
Where
while?
have I been? Just dealing with a lot of issues, so just
Like
trying
what?
to come back.
Like what?
Just a lot of personal things.
Oh, there should never, Sandra, you got to know there is nothing in life that can happen to you that is a big deal.
Well,
Nothing is a big deal.
yeah.
And so if you know that it's not a big deal, you wouldn't become angry about it, you wouldn't hate it, and you can overcome all things. Nothing is a big deal.
Jesse, I'm not angry. My heart was broken emotionally, and then my heart was broken physically, and so...
Who broke your heart?
Jay broke my heart.
How?
Just something that he had to say, but, I understand it, and he has set strict boundaries, and I respect that, and...
What are his boundaries now?
Very minimal communication. Strict boundaries is what he relays about his life or himself. I rarely hear from him. I get a text once in a while. I never see a picture of him. It's very rarely. Sometimes he does talk to me if it's concerning work or anything like that, but never his life or anything personal or what's going on or what he's doing or where he's going or anything like that.
Jay is your son, right?
Yeah.
And he's an adult male, right?
Yes.
That shouldn't break your heart. That should make you rejoice that he's finally growing up and God living his life.
Well,
you should be rejoicing.
A long time ago and went on with his life, but this is just anger. It was just something he said that was just very, very hurtful and out of perspective. But it's fine. I'm dealing with it. It is what it is. And
but listen, you should be rejoicing. Don't be no more mommy.
I don't mother him. I never have. I don't try to control him.
So why are you feeling this way about his decisions then?
It's not the decision. It was something that was said that I just thought was out of perspective and was rather somewhat wounding. And
so let's say that he said, I don't know what it is, and you don't need to tell me over the air if you don't want to.
Yeah.
But let's say that he said something to you that was completely wrong, right? You should have just said amazing and wish him well.
Yeah,
and then down the road, if he's wrong, he would later discover that he was wrong, and knowing Jay, he would call you up and apologize.
Well, there's no need to apologize. Jay has to deal with his circumstances, and I have to deal with my circumstances. I still love him. I still respect him. I think he does well as a man. He stands on his own.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy. So let him go through what he got to go through.
If he has to make the decisions that work best for him, and I respect that.
But you sound so hurt. If you respected it, you wouldn't be hurt by it.
Well, I've overcome some of that emotion. But initially it was hurtful. But I think it was shocking. But I've kind of overcome that.
But let it go. It's no big deal.
Yeah,
let it go.
Can't. You'll emotionally destroy yourself, so you can't. But what I wanted to call you about is...
How were you? You said you were heartbroken emotionally and physically. Did he break your physical heart? How were you heartbroken physically?
Well, because of the emotional hurt, it created such anxiety that it physically affected my heart.
You had a heart attack?
Not a heart attack, but rapid heart rate that caused me to just have these ongoing, continuous fainting episodes where I would just fall out. I just couldn't walk around hardly. I would just fall out and go down to the floor because the anxiety was causing my heart to just race so fast it couldn't get blood to the heart and brain fast enough, and I was just falling out. And they put me on one medication, and then which made things worse, and finally got me on a different one, and I got kind of stabilized in March. So.
And what did you learn from all that?
Well, I know that, when you allow stress and anxiety to overcome your life, it affects you physically, and you can't let that happen.
But do you realize that that's not Jay's fault that you overreacted? That's not your son's fault. That's your fault that you overreacted.
I'm not blaming him.
But so he didn't break your heart.
That's how I reacted to it.
Yeah, so don't react. It's nothing that important that you should be overreacting like that. That's what caused the problem you say you had. It was your overreaction to it, your resentment of it.
Well, I wasn't resentful. I was just
angry,
broken, hurt and broken.
But you had to be angry to be hurt and broken.
No, I wasn't angry. I was just taken to my feet, taken to the ground.
Oh Lord, stop it!
I'm not there anymore. But initially, it was such a shock. It just broke my heart.
Amazing. Well, stop.
But anyways, what I wanted to talk to you
overreacting.
about is, the $4.6 billion bill that was signed into law.
Yes,
Well, that's not for the wall.
it was for the wall.
No.
What was it for?
It was for Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and it's going to provide relief to immigration agencies stretched thin by the recent surge in people seeking asylum at the southern border, paying for food, shelter, and medical care for migrants.
Well, why did a black judge stop it?
That I don't know. That's what I'm kind of surprised by, too. But what Trump has told Mexico is that if you don't start keeping and containing those people there, we're going to put tariffs on all of your Mexican exports. And they are planning on detaining almost 73,000 people
Yeah.
in the first 3 months of this year. That's what they did. But the
Amazing.
president of Mexico offered all this asylum and to protect the rights of these people. Mexico would never let Guatemalans into Mexico. They had a fence. And if you were a Guatemalan and you came into Mexico illegally, you went to prison for 3 years. So now they're letting all these people come in. And so Trump is saying, we're going to punish you. We're going to put tariffs on your Mexican goods for your failure to contain this exodus.
Yes.
So under this deal, Mexico has agreed to review its efforts to curb the migration after 45 days. So what that means, the flow of migrants, if it isn't significantly reduced, 90 days after June's agreement. So that gives us July, August, September. So all these people are trying to race here before that.
That's
the Mexican
amazing.
government will consider a U.S. demand that Mexico become a safe third country, a legal designation requiring asylum seekers to stay in Mexico.
That's amazing.
So I can't imagine
Yeah.
Mexico becoming a significant third country for all these immigrants coming over
Yeah.
and agreeing to that.
I know.
But, they've got 90 days. Now, I'm looking at a picture in the Wall Street Journal of these migrants that are being loaded onto a bus by the U.S. border agents that have been detained when they crossed into the U.S. early this month. And, it's not a huge picture. It's not a full one-page picture. But I'm counting 5 adult males. They have 7 boys with them. They're all holding hands. 1 female woman with one looks like 3-year-old she's carrying, and then 1 other little girl. So it's primarily all males.
Well, it shouldn't be happening either way, children or women or male. That's an amazing story. Sandra, it's so good to hear from you. I'm glad your heart is coming back, and thank you for clearing that up for me, that story up about the $4.6 billion. I didn't know all the whole details on it, so thank you for that.
Yeah, that was.
And be careful with that
July
heart because we
2nd,
need you
so.
around, all right?
Yeah, I will.
Guard your heart.
How's my heart? It's better now.
Listen, don't worry about Jay. Jay is going to be fine. Let him go through what he got to go through. That's going to make him a better man.
Jay has to deal with his issues, and I deal with my issues.
Right. So let him go. He's an adult man. He'll be fine. Don't be overreacting.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not worried about him. I just,
all right.
wish there was a little more communication. But
it'll come in due season.
Whatever he needs to do, if it works for him, then
that's right.
I'm happy for him.
That's right.
Thank
you, Sandra.
So, yeah.
I appreciate you. Sandra, call me again. I got to run. We're running out of time right now.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.